The Calgary Police Service has charged a woman in connection with a suspicious death that occurred in January. At approximately 9:50 p.m. on Saturday, January 30th, 2016, police were called to check on the welfare of a resident in the 400 block of Ranchlands Grove Northwest. Once inside, police found a deceased child. An adult female found in the home was taken to hospital in stable, non-life-threatening condition. An autopsy was conducted and required additional tests to determine the cause of death. The death has now been classified as a homicide, and the victim has been identified as Isaiah ZOUE, 3 years of age, of Calgary. Police have charged Fatim BAMBA, 28, of Calgary, with second-degree murder. And Bamba is the boy's mother. She will appear in court Friday, September 9th, 2016. And there have been 17 homicides in Calgary this year. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to contact police by calling the non-emergency line, the homicide tip line, at 403-428-8877, or, as always, anonymously by contacting Crime Stoppers. I'll answer any questions that I can.
Can you talk a little bit more about the circumstances in this case?
Well, the circumstances will continue to be flushed out. We've gained enough of a picture to lay charges based on the investigation to date and forensics and interviews, but there's still some other things to do.
Can you talk about just any reason for this death? Like what led up to this?
Not really. We haven't gained much cooperation from Fatim at this point, so we're relying strictly on the evidence we've gathered so far.
So you don't really know what a motive would have been or what?
Unfortunately, no.
Do you guys feel that you have a picture of what transpired, though, based on the tests that you've done?
We have an idea what we believe may have occurred through the investigation, but as far as motive goes, or what led up to that, I don't know at this time.
Why did it take so long to press charges in this case?
Well, there's lots of obstacles to overcome in a sensitive investigation, especially around child deaths. We waited for, as always, the chief medical officer. They do a very good job. It takes a long time to get the reports and make sure everything's done correctly. So there's also lots of legislative obstacles that come post-charge. So we're trying to do as much work on the front end as possible, so to make sure things are done thorough and properly. And it just takes time, and there's lots of obstacles in a complex investigation and very few things in investigators' favor.
Can you talk about the circumstances of her arrest and if she's still in custody?
Well, she was, I'm not sure what you mean by circumstances of her arrest.
Where and when was she arrested?
She's been interviewed a good chunk of yesterday and was arrested, I believe, at her parents' home yesterday, and she's still in custody.
So would you call her uncooperative then? She's not cooperating?
I would classify it as uncooperative.
Was the accused a suspect right from the get-go, right from January 30th?
Yes.
When she was taken to the hospital, were there self-inflicted injuries? Can you talk any more about that?
No, I can't. It's not our position to discuss. It's private medical information, so that's not something I would put out.
You say the accused is uncooperative. Has the rest of the family been cooperative throughout this investigation?
I believe so.
Can you just also talk, like, I know these child deaths are very, very difficult for your officers to investigate. Just going to talk about that.
Yeah, they are especially tragic, not just for investigators, but for the community as a whole, especially when we see a victim allegedly murdered by the person that's solely entrusted with their safety and security. It's especially tragic for everybody.
Is there anything else that you can say, or is it because it's before the courts you just can't?
I can answer what I can. There's not a lot to speak of. There's lots of private information that I'm not in a position to divulge.
You said that other family members have been cooperative. Who else did you speak to? Did you speak to neighbors as well as part of this investigation?
Yeah, neighbors, as always, I've been spoken to, the child's father's been spoken to, and everybody's provided what information they can.
I know originally police had said that they had been called to the home before. Did anything turn out to be related to this, or was there any more that kind of led you to understand what happened because of that?
I don't think any prior tenants, and I'm not sure the details exactly, the numbers, but nothing substantial that would be related that I'm aware of.
So was the accused known to police before this incident?
Not particularly, no.
Anyone else?
Who was it that made that initial 911 call? Was it a family member? Was it neighbors that heard something happening around January 30th?
I believe it was family who hadn't seen or heard from anybody from that residence for a period of time preceding the call.
So police were called on the 30th. Do you know how long he would have been dead inside the house for?
Not exactly, no. Time of death is always very difficult to ascertain, and seldom would we ever get an exact time, but I don't know for sure when that would be.
Like, would it have been like days?
Sometime in that, probably not days, but sometime in potentially in that preceding 24 hours, something like that.
Are you looking at any other suspects or any people of interest that may be involved in this? Or do you believe that the accused is the person?
Well, the investigation will continue, obviously, and if any new information comes to light, that would be explored. But as of right now, those are the only charges that have been laid, obviously. But other information may come to light, and we would explore that.
Can you say how long ago she was released from hospital? Like, was she in the hospital for quite a while?
I believe end of June sometime, maybe.
And sorry, did you say how many times she has been interviewed or no? Or can you say how
No,
many
I
times?
didn't. No.
Has she been in several times though to talk?
Yeah, more than once.
Anyone else?
It's okay, but later, do you mind doing the pre-do thing again? Reading the statement again for me?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Could you read the statement for me again? I just got here a little bit late.
Oh, the
Yeah.
pre-statement?
Do you mind?
The statement? Yeah. The Calgary Police Service has charged a woman in connection with a suspicious death that occurred in January. At approximately 9:50 p.m. on Saturday, January 30th, 2016, police were called to check on the welfare of a resident in the 400 block of Ranchlands Grove Northwest. Once inside, police found a deceased child. An adult female found in the home was taken to hospital in stable, non-life-threatening condition. An autopsy was conducted and required additional tests to determine the cause of death. The death has now been classified as a homicide, and the victim has been identified as Isaiah ZOUE, 3 years of age, of Calgary. Police have charged Fatim BAMBA, 28, of Calgary, with second-degree murder. Bamba is the boy's mother, and she will appear in court on Friday, September 9th, 2016. There have been 17 homicides in Calgary this year. Anyone with information is asked to contact either the non-emergency line, the homicide unit tip line, or Crime Stoppers anonymously.
Can you say if the accused has any other children?
I believe she does, but I'm not sure this. I believe one boy that she does not have custody of.
Do you believe there was anybody else in the home at the time when police were called, or before police were called?
We don't know for sure. We believe not, but like I said, as the investigation continues, any new information will be explored. But at this point, we don't believe so.